Today, Physicians for Wishes will take you through the DIY process of building the best lemonade stand on YouTube. Constructed out of both cedar and pine, 48 inches wide, 32 inches front to back, with a height of 82 inches, this is for sure to be the best lemonade stand in the neighborhood. Wanting to raise money for Physicians for Wishes, my daughter had the idea of selling lemonade. And as a Disney dad and dance dad, I have to go all out. So let's go through some of the tools that you're going to need, including measuring tape, speed square, shop pencil, miter saw with wood blade, extension cord if needed, drill, pocket hole jig, and a jigsaw. The following items are the supplies that I used. We're going to be moving through pretty quick, so pause is needed. So for this build, the wood that I used included pine stud, approximately 13 of these, and then of course cedar dog ear fence picket, approximately 25 of these. Craig pocket hole screws, 1-inch wood screws, 1 box of brown deck screws, 3.5-inch hinges, wing nuts, carriage bolts, and a workbench caster's kit. So we're going to start with building the frame. You're going to be cutting 2 sections of 2x3 to a length of 48 inches. These become the top and bottom sections. You will cut 3 additional sections to a length of 30 inches. These will be the vertical pieces that will attach to the top and the bottom. Utilizing the pocket hole jig on the 1.5-inch side of the 2 30-inch pieces of wood, you're going to be drilling pocket holes into each side of the vertical frame sections. So each piece of wood will have a total of 4 holes drilled into it. Use a speed square to keep the wood at a 90-degree angle when securing it together. The frame should be tight. Outside dimensions of the front frame will be 48 inches wide and 33 inches in height. Cut 2 sections of 17 inches in length with 45-degree angles on each end. Corner pieces are added to the top outside corners of the front frame. 4 sections at 5 inches in length are added for hinge support. You now have a complete front frame. For building the 2 side frames, each piece is cut from the 2x3 piece of wood. For building the 2 side frames, each piece is cut from the 2x3 piece of wood. 4 sections cut at 20.5 inches, 4 sections cut at 30 inches, 4 sections cut at 17.5 inches, and 2 sections cut at 11 inches with 45-degree angles on each end. Pocket holes are drilled into both sides of the 30-inch sections and both sides of the 17.5-inch sections. Similar to the front frame, go ahead and put it together, utilizing the speed square to ensure 90-degree angles. Hinges are placed against the 5-inch blocks. Hinges allow the side frames to fold up flat on the front frame. You now have a finished frame in an upright position. It should be solid to the ground with no teetering or sloping. For the bar top, you'll be cutting 2x3 pieces to 3 different lengths. 2 pieces at 44.5 inches, 2 pieces at 24 inches, and 1 piece at 21 inches. Pocket holes are drilled into the 21-inch and the 44.5-inch boards. Use a speed square when putting together. The bar top is then placed on the front and side frames. The entire frame is now complete. Let's move on to the fun part with the slats. For the front and side slats, we'll start with cutting 4 82-inch posts. These will be attached with 4-inch carriage bolts. The sides will be covered in 3.5-inch and 5.5-inch picket slats, all cut to 33 inches. Use deck screws for slats. To keep the wood from cracking, drill pilot holes first. For the front frame, we'll need a total of 9 5.5-inch boards, all cut to 33 inches. Go ahead and put these on, also placing pilot holes first to avoid cracking. You will notice here I added trim horizontally to both the top and bottom frames. That is completely optional and was done for more of an aesthetic look. Your front and side slats are now complete. The bar top will have 8 pieces of 5.5-inch slats and 1 piece of a 3.5-inch slat cut to a width of 24 inches with an overall width of 47.5. Pilot holes were drilled here as well to prevent cracking prior to securing the slats. The bar top is now complete. Next, we'll add the shelves and the remaining trim. For this next part, I utilized both scrap pieces and 5.5-inch picket to add additional trim to the top, bottom, and the sides. For the shelves, I decided to add 2 shelves utilizing 5.5-inch picket. These are then supported by the side frame. You will start with cutting 6 pieces of 5.5-inch picket to a length of 47 inches. This allows for 2 shelves, each with a back. The lemonade stand is large enough that you could do a 3rd shelf as well if needed. Given that this lemonade stand is made out of both cedar and pine, and with the size it is heavy, but by placing wheels it's easily movable. As mentioned in the beginning, I used the workbench casters kit from Amazon. The retractable casters are designed for workbenches, but it works awesome to easily move the lemonade stand. Building the roof was definitely the most fun part, mainly because my daughter loved choosing the colors and painting. For this section, you're going to start by cutting 2 pieces of the 2x3 to 54 inches and 2 pieces to 14 inches. Go ahead and drill the pocket holes and screw the frame together. You will cut 10 pieces of the 5.5-inch picket to 16 3/4 inches. These should attach nicely to the frame. You will then set the miter chop saw to a 22.5-degree angle for the scalloped edge. 4 wedges will be cut from the 2x3 piece of wood. Finally, cut a 3.5-inch picket to 54 inches and screw to the front of the angles. Next, you'll cut the 5.5-inch picket to 12 inches. You will need 10 of these. The boards will be connected with a piece of 3.5-inch picket cut to a length of 50 inches. My daughter decided her colors would be pink, yellow, and white, and she definitely had a lot of fun on this part. For the stain, I utilized the Sickens Teak stain from Ace Hardware. Here you can see the 54-inch picket we already cut for the painted pieces. A 3/8-inch drill bit is used to drill holes through the sides of the topper and each post. 4 carriage bolts with wing nuts are then used. If the measurements are all accurate, the top should fit right on top of the 4 posts. Your lemonade stand is now complete, coming in at 48 inches wide, 32 inches front to back, with the height just over 82 inches. 2 built-in shelves with plenty of counter space and storage space. This dark cedar and pine lemonade stand is sure to stand out. And as a Disney dad and dance dad, I have to go all out. Now add your decor, wait for that perfect day, make your freshly squeezed lemonade, and get ready to have a blast in what is for sure to be the best lemonade stand in your entire neighborhood.